it comes back down to enjoying the journey, not just the destination. And it through that journey, through finding your next milestone and getting to that next checkpoint that you've created for yourself is where you're going to find that creativity. You're going to find that inspiration. You're going to discover parts of your identity and parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed before.
Welcome to Life is a Game, hosted by yours truly, Alexandra Nicole Stone. Get ready to uncover the secrets to mastering your destiny, becoming the main character in your life, and embracing a life filled with meaning and joy. Ready? Let's play.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life is the Game. I'm your host, Alexandra Nicole Stone, and I'm excited for today's episode. Today, what we're really going to talk about, and hits home for me right now in this time in my life, is when you're playing a game and there's no map and no instructions and no direction. And although a lot of us might define this as directionless, it's a lot more deeper than that. Because a lot of us feel like we have a direction in which we're going in our lives, right? Whether that's, okay, I want to build my career in X place. So like, I want to be the best hairstylist, or I want to become a content creator, or I want to be the best dad, right? Like, that's a direction in your life. But sometimes, even though you have that direction, that objective that you're going on, sometimes it's really not clear how to get there. And this is super relevant for me right now, is that I'm having these goals in my life that I'm trying to accomplish, but it's like I don't have the map with the express location of how to get there, and I don't have the step-by-step tutorial guide on how to get there. And I'm playing the game right now, but it's feeling so aimless. I feel like I'm a dog chasing my own tail a lot of days, and even though I'm conducting research, seeing what other content creators are doing, what formats work, how people are structuring their podcast, how people are doing their books. Even as I'm doing all of this, sometimes that's counterproductive because then I feel overwhelmed by all this information and I'm not able to take action because I still don't have the exact sort of recipe for the place that I am right now in my life. So I'm going to compare this to games because just the other day I had started playing The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Not just started playing, but I hadn't played in over a year. That was my last save date. And my stepbrother brought it over and I was like, okay, like, let's play some more. And I start the game, and even though I'm familiar with the place that I'm in, I knew the location. I kind of remember what I was doing up until the point that I got there. And I remember at the time I had been going on these sort of self-created side quests, collecting all these pieces of random armor. I'm at a halfway point in the game, and I knew I didn't want it to end. So sort of creating work for myself to start exploring more, instead of going on these main quests. I don't know what I was doing or which piece of armor I was hunting for at that point. I was pretty deep in some IGN forum at the time I was playing the game. So what I did is that I opened up the map, and when I opened up the map, I was completely overwhelmed. The map is huge, and I had explored so many points of it, and there were so many little stamps and markers all across the map that maybe at the time that I was playing meant something to me, but now it meant absolutely nothing. I mean, skull, chest, crystal. Okay, maybe there's some treasure there, but I gotta kill a couple of enemies in order to get it. So this is all sort of starting over fresh. And the thing is, I felt completely overwhelmed. And it's sort of a very similar feeling to how I'm feeling now. It really resonated with me because I'm feeling really overwhelmed in my life because the map is so huge. The world of content creation and the world of personal brand building is so huge. And there's so many people giving you advice. Those are the little stamps on the markers on the map. But where I'm at right now in this place and this time, those stamps and markers really don't mean anything to me, or they're really hard for me to attach meaning to. So for a while, I spent like an hour just kind of getting a hang of the mechanics. Or like jumping around. I still forgot how to take my sword out. How do I use my shield? How do I do things, right? I'm still like a newborn baby. I have a similar experience to what I'm going through right now as well, because I spent the last 7, 8 years in B2B marketing. So I'm a marketer, but this field of marketing that I'm entering now, the social media marketing and content creation, this is a completely new wheelhouse. The copywriting is different, the marketing is different, the angles are different, the strategies and techniques in which you accomplish it's different because I'm promoting myself, which is way different than promoting a client. After some time, I'm like getting my mechanics back. I'm playing around and I'm like, okay, what do I do? I didn't want to play the main quest yet, even though that when you open up your log, the main quest is available, which the main quest is like the main reason for playing the game, right? So like defeating, I forget what the main quest is this one, but it's defeating the boss, right? Or like you're collecting sort of these pieces of light from these different key villages around the land. And, that's kind of like our life's main quest. Like my main quest is maybe creating a chain reaction of goodness in the world or coaching and helping others and creating financial freedom for myself. But that's far off into the distance. And maybe right now I can't do those things. Like those are not accessible to me right now, or pursuing those higher main quests are not of interest to me, or it seemed too difficult because I'm still getting my sea legs. So, it's kind of a crawl, walk, run scenario. Okay. And so I didn't want to do the main quest and I didn't want to bog my mind reminding myself of all the side quests. And I kind of came back to my roots a little bit. I remembered what my favorite reason for playing role-playing games is that I love exploring. Really, for me, that's the itch that it scratches, and that's my whole joy in playing role-playing game. And so I knew that to the left of me, I had died because there were some very strong enemies. I'm like, I'm not feeling confrontational right now. And then I looked at the map and there's this whole like black part on the map, which means it's been unexplored. And I'm like, okay, that's my objective. Once I decided that was going to be my objective, I'm like, okay, what's next? So I look and then there's this like really tall mountain next to me. So I'm like, this is perfect. So I can get on top of this mountain and I have a vantage point in which I can sort of survey the land and see which direction I need to go to and what the best process is to explore this dark part of the map. And as I'm sort of climbing up this mountain, I'm distracted by this pristine little lake. And I see there's sort of like an entrance in the back and there's a cave. And I could not pass up the opportunity of exploring this cave. And so I start exploring the cave and defeating some enemies and I find some treasure. And then after maybe an hour of exploring, I find myself at the tomb that I was trying to get. And this was a completely unintentional side quest to get to this point. And funny thing is, that's how it works in life, right? You're trying to get to a certain point, but then you're distracted by the process. And like in the process of me, building my personal brand, right? Or spreading this message of life is the game, I'm having to create short format content because that's going to be the best vehicle for me to teach people how to do that. And in me learning to access that vehicle, it's like, okay, now I want to teach my clients or help other people do this thing as well. And so during the game, I had lost quite a bit of resources. And when I'm saying resources, like arrows and maybe, some meal that would give me health. And I was trying to create a fire so I can cook more food to have more health so I can continue exploring, right? But then it started raining, and so I couldn't build the fire. And the physics of the game is actually quite nice. So once it starts raining, you can't build a fire, and then you can't climb the walls because you slope down. And so I was like, okay, my only choice is like there's a sort of general direction that I want to go to. I saw this windmill in the distance, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make my way down this mountain, and get to the windmill. I paraglide down the mountain, and I find a village. Perfect. This is exactly what I needed. I can buy more arrows, buy more resources, get more materials to cook some food, re-up, and then I can continue exploring so I can unlock the map. As I'm in this village, I'm starting to talk to people. Okay, they're giving me some side quests. I start checking out some of the things that they're doing. And I found myself started playing the game. I started making meaning for myself and in doing these actions. I started moving the plot forward. And the thing is, like, a lot of times in life, we're so overwhelmed by what it is that we have to do. We start panicking. Oh my God, I don't remember the mechanics. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I don't have the means. I feel lost. I don't have directions. Well, the beautiful thing that this game taught me in this moment is that we can choose the journey that we're going to go on to. And once we make a decision that maybe this is not supporting the main quest, but hey, I'm making a decision that, okay, I want to make 55 days of content. And then it stops becoming about me doing the main mission. And that kind of goes a little bit in the background. I unload that stress. And then I'm like, okay, I start living in the present. And I'm like, what are the steps that I need to take right now in this moment to get me closer to that next destination? So maybe it's like every single day I'm creating or a piece of content. Every other week I'm creating a piece of content, however you want to structure it, right? And at the end of those 55 days, I might find like, okay, I need a new challenge. So the same thing was happening to me in that game. I'm like, okay, I want to explore this unexplored portion of the map. Okay, in order to do that, I go on a little bit of a side quest getting to that vantage point. Now I have like my first marker of where I need to go. I'm low on resources, but there's environmental factors that are influencing my progression. Okay, so I adjust to those environmental factors. And then I make my way down. I find a village cool. I can get more resources. And then now I'm getting, okay, while I'm here, might as well accomplish all these side quests in this area before I go to my next marker. And that's the game of life. That's the journey. So when you're feeling lost and when you're feeling aimless, just think about what is the next thing that I need to do in this moment. Like when you're breaking down your big, hairy goals into smaller, more attainable goals. Okay. So maybe the thing for you is like, oh, I want to travel. Or maybe you want to be a podcaster, right? But the way that starts is like, I start by listening to podcasts. Okay, I listened to enough podcasts that kind of understand the structure, and now maybe I can start exploring what it means to create my own podcast. Okay, now I have that, and then let me like create an album cover. Maybe let me create a structure or format. Let me try recording an episode. That's the process, you know. But if you think about, oh my God, I have to create a podcast, that's going to be super overwhelming to you because you're like, how do I get guests? How do I get this? How do I get that? But if you break it down into these more small, snackable side quests, it starts becoming a lot more manageable. And then you can be more in the present and start taking things one step at a time. And then you never know. You might be discovering a cave full of treasure. That's the inspiration. That's the creativity. Those are the ideas that you get in the process that you don't even consider when you're going about your journey of executing the main quest. And what I mean by that is that when we're executing the main quest or when we're thinking about our big audacious goal, we're getting so caught up in doing those things that we kind of forget to enjoy the process. But it comes back down to enjoying the journey, not just the destination. And it through that journey, through finding your next milestone and getting to that next checkpoint that you've created for yourself is where you're going to find that creativity. You're going to find that inspiration. You're going to discover parts of your identity and parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed before. And that's the whole beauty of life. So, my dear players, whenever you feel lost and you don't know what to do next, it's okay. Just think, create a little side quest for yourself. This is my big goal, but what can I do right now to move myself forward? And then you take a step, and then you take another one, and then you get another side quest right there. So next time you have a challenge or you don't know what to do, stop and ask yourself, what would I do? What would my avatar do to move this plot forward? Ready? Let's play.